Hey, this is Jody with Get Your Face Out There on Air, and today I have the pleasure of having Laurina Anderson. She is the energy shifter. So glad you can come in today.
Thanks so much. Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely loving it.
I'm intrigued by all that you've done. You're I don't know, you've been probably in this industry a good 20 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Probably about 21, 22 now in the field of psychology.
Okay. But you've done a lot of things, shifting for others, helping people shift and move on, and, but you as well.
Yes.
As from when you started to where you are today.
Absolutely.
So tell a little bit about, the transition and what you're doing now exactly, and what that means and entails. A lot of people get it. A lot of people don't.
Yeah. Well, what makes me different, first of all, is that being a life coach, I have my credentials. So I was a therapist in the addictions field. So I have my master's in social work, and that's one of the things that really steps me above, because I have the academia to back up my knowledge.
Right.
So that's a really big deal out there. And I
agree
that everybody should really take a look, if you want a life coach that's got the credentials and be able to help you through whatever situations you might be going through. That's what you want to look for, somebody who's credentialed.
Is there a certain age or group that you like to work with?
I love to work with 30 and above.
Okay.
Now, I've had many clients that were 14, 19, 21, but usually what I find is that there's not enough life experience that they're dealing with. Not only that, but they still have to answer to their parents. So I love working with the parents, because that's where change happens.
That's
true. When you end up having the ability of working with the foundation, everything above that starts aligning. And that's one of the things that's so important, is being able to work with that foundation. So I work with a lot of different people, and industries as well. I work with corporations. I work with bank owners. I guess,
as far as work internally, a lot of people might have issues, but they're afraid to approach. So you teach them ways to approach it where they're comfortable. They don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to lose their job. So you kind of guide them in that sense.
Well, and one of my mottos is, be the change you wish to see in the world. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi. So with that, what I do is I start teaching people how to deal with those individuals that they might think are less than cooperative, that give them a challenge. And I tell them, the fastest way to move and change is by those individuals, because you would come up with such creative and innovative ideas on how to get away from them, or how to overstep them, or how to, really show up in your finest. And I said, and those are the individuals that you want to bless, that they're in your life, because they are going to skyrocket you.
Right, you learn a lot from them.
Absolutely.
So why avoid them? You can't go around them, above them.
Well,
you might as well confront them and learn from them.
You either learn from them, or you start tapping into your own power. And you start saying, okay, wait a minute, how can I change this? How can I do this? Because a lot of times, you can't change anything out there.
No.
And you can't control anything out there.
Absolutely.
But you do have the ability of coming back inside.
It all comes from
It's
you.
all an inside job, honey.
Yep, just take your time, and if you really focus, your attention on your intentions, and you really settle into what you want, and in a quiet moment, the answers will come, and just continuously
Absolutely.
work on it.
Yes.
It's a progression.
So there's two things that are really vital to my work, and that's why I'm called the energy shifter.
Okay.
One is I teach people how to quiet the mind. Okay?
That's key.
How to be quiet. And this thing doesn't go on.
No, it's practice. That's a practice.
And guess what?
What?
I can teach people in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to give any tips? A tip? I don't know.
Well, I start teaching them how to feel their body, how to come back into their body again, how to be aware of their surroundings, how to listen without getting caught in the listening, but how to listen. And then how to direct their energy. Now, you direct your energy in two ways. One is through your breath, and the other way is through your attention. So whatever you put your attention on grows.
That's exactly
And so you have to be very careful where you're putting your attention.
That's exactly
Because if you
right.
put more attention up here, this thing's going to pound.
Right.
It's
And you
gonna go
want to, and you
crazy.
don't want it to be on the negative. You kind of want to dismiss that.
Now, that's the second thing. That's so perfect. Perfect segue. I also teach people how to release negative energy within the body mind.
So it doesn't consume too much of you.
Well, you can feel though. That's why people don't want to do this kind of work, because they don't want to feel bad. However, they're still feeling bad all the time anyhow. And their stress level is crazy. I mean, I work with lawyers, financial advisors, police. I work with
their
whole
adrenaline
array.
is so high all the time, they don't know how to bring it down. They need the tools and the education
don't.
to learn to
They don't
calm it.
feel. They're not
They're
feeling.
detached.
They're totally
almost.
detached. And they live up in here. Okay? So if you're living up here,
They're not aware.
you're not
You're
using
breathing.
you're not using
Rest
your
of you.
whole energy field.
Right.
And let me tell you, we create based on our energy field and what we put our attention on.
Right.
So those are the two key things: how to quiet the mind, how to release negative energy in the body mind. And I've got to tell you, every time a client walks in and we start working on their issues, and I don't care if you want to build your sales, I don't care if you're going through mild depression, if you're going through a divorce, if you need to get out of a really bad relationship, I work on it all.
Right. I mean, everybody has something at one point in stage of their life that's going on, health or family or boyfriend or divorce or kids. Everybody. So you just
Absolutely.
have to learn and train yourself to deal with it. And she gives you the tools so you can feel better. And when you're feeling better and stronger and positive, you're able to cope with it and deal with it with a clear head. Right?
That's very good. You
Would
did
that be
great.
right? Okay.
Yeah, you did great.
Now, when somebody walks in, you probably can sense their energy immediately when they come in. And when you teach them some of these tools, you can probably sense that you've made a big difference.
Do you know what's more important than me sensing it?
What?
They're
Them.
sensing it.
Right.
They're feeling it. And all of a sudden, they walk out of my office and they feel so much lighter, so much freer. And when you feel like that, you feel more alive. And you also have the ability.
smile.
Yeah. Well,
Do they have like a wow moment?
Yes. Over and over and over again. I
Right.
love it.
Yeah, the wow moment.
And then
What-
after about 2 or 3 months, I turned around and I said, "Okay, now I want you to go back and revisit that person that walked into my office the very
geez.
first time."
Wow.
I said, "Do you even remember that person?"
Wow.
And they're like, "No, wow."
Yeah.
And I said, and then I take them through. Look at all these things that you've created for yourself.
Right. If you would take the time, like, because, we all take baby steps to get where we're going. But if you took the time to once in a while, like, turn back and go, wow, look at the distance. Look what I've done. And, you can praise yourself from time to time. I think sometimes
Oh, no,
we're a
I
little
insist
hard.
on it.
We're so hard on
I
ourselves.
insist on it. I'm like, okay, you've got somebody who you absolutely love. Whether it's your children, your best friend, your spouse, your dogs, your animals, you got somebody that you absolutely love, right?
Yeah.
So, do you praise that dog when it's done a really good job? All the time. You're always giving that dog love.
The animals,
Even
yeah.
if it's had an accident in the house, it's like, oh no, what did you do? And 5 seconds later, you're loving on the dog, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want you to do with you. I want you to start praising yourself and start giving yourself your own attention and your own love, because that's the bottom line, is how to love ourselves.
Nobody else is going to do it for you.
How to love yourself unconditionally.
Right. That's exactly right. That's the key.
That's the only key.
Because if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else in your
Amen.
world authentically.
Exactly.
And, so if you need a few tools and a few tips, I suggest highly recommending Laurina, and give her a call. And what's the best way people can get a hold of you?
Well, I've got 2 ways. I've got
Okay.
an office number. It's 954-647-5525. That's my office number. Or you can call me on my cell. I don't mind. I answer my cell, believe it or not. And that's 407-340-0301. Or you can also email me at laurinaanderson@gmail.com. And that's spelled Laurina, Anderson with an O, @gmail.com. And you can also go to my website. It's called I Shift Energy. It's the small I, big S, iShiftEnergy.com.
So super to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
a doll.
Thank you.
Until
It's been
next time, everyone, take care of yourself. There's only one you. Bye.